Possibly the greatest championship run in the history of championship runs.
We want to bring a title back to this.
With definitely the most expert panel in the history of expert panels on Around the Horn. Let's go! Duval! Oh no. Oh no. Logan Roy comes to us from Waystar Royco after his appearance at the congressional hearings over the cruise scandal last month.
Hey, what do you want, Womscan? I own everything. Do you see my ship? I'm going to own ESPN. I'm going to own the ride home. All right. Here we go.
In Texas, number one in the charts, number one in our hearts. Is that Lil Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus?
Howdy, Antonio. Just like Clemson, we're number one in the country, and we're going to ride this thing till we can't no more.
How do?
Billy Ray. Okay, Gardner Minshew is with us in Jacksonville just before he gets on the flight out to London before this week's game with the Texans.
Tony, it's Gardner Flint Minshew II. Get it right or I'll take your job, too.
Do I own her?
And in plasma 4, Sam Darnold's spleen, I'm guessing. What are we looking at here?
Enlarged and in charge, Tony. Breaking down barriers and blood cells.
Yes. Nicely done. The first organ in ESPN history. It's an honor to be joined by Sam Darnold's spleen. I guess we're going to do this, right? We're going to talk about the World Series with this panel. Let's go. Let's go around the horn.
Yeehaw.
We are in a run of championships in recent years that, it's almost incomprehensible. I'm thinking about the Cubs, the Cavs, Leicester City, the Eagles, the Capitals, Virginia and South Carolina basketball, the Blues, the Mystics. But the Washington Nationals say, hold my beer, all right? They are indestructible. They've been unkillable, maybe as resilient as any team ever. 19-31. The 5 elimination games with wins against Cy Young winners and Hall of Fame pitchers, down 3-2 on the road here, down to their last 8 outs last night. That's where we're going to pick it up, esteemed panel. And Lil Nas X, I know you were at this game, covering this game for your next single. Did the Nats win it or the Astros blow it?
I gotta believe the Astros blew it right when he had a chance to do something. He had the horses in the back and didn't go to him when he decided he was going to take out Greinke in this game. He got spooked by the walk, he got spooked by the bomb, and didn't go to Garrett Cole, the guy who actually is the best pitcher, in my opinion, on that staff, who's not even associating himself with this team. This series was about the Nationals. This game was about the Astros blowing it at home for yet another time.
So pulling Greinke was the blowing it, or was not going to Cole the blowing it, Lil Nas?
I think pulling him and the combination of the two, just like this tremendous combination that you can see obviously top of the charts, was the problem right there. He had one option. He didn't go to either one of them correctly.
And it seems like Billy Ray concurs. Okay, very good.
I'm with my little buddy here. I'm with him. I do want to say Washington, 5 comeback wins. Let's tip our hats to him.
Okay, thank you very much. Gardner Minshew, did the Astros blow last night or the Nats win it?
First, Tony, want to say I'm happy to be here. You know, you never like to see a superstar go down, but Izzy's got me ready for the big show, and now I'm taking over. As for the Nats, well, Tony, when you win the title, you get the crown. Now, it ain't no crown royal.
Sam Darnold's spleen, dare I ask what you thought of Game 7 of the World Series?
I mean, the Astros absolutely blew it, Tony. A.J. Hinch has some explaining to do, if you know what I mean. I mean, to have the best pitcher in baseball and not use him when he's willing to go that final 3 innings, get you those final 9 outs. The choice there is obvious. Either keep Greinke in the game, but if you're going to take Greinke out, you got to go to Garrett Cole, who, by the way, you're not saving his arm for anything other than opening day for the Angels next year.
Right. And you know all about body parts. So I go to you for the future of body parts. Absolutely. What is this? What was our budget for Stu Gotts? There's a red sheet on top of him. All right, Logan Roy.
What are you, spleen expert suddenly? I mean, what are you talking about?
Game 7 of the World Series, Logan Roy.
Does that guy work for me? Can we get rid of him? You're fired. Fracking out of here. No chance for you. World Series. I remember going to the Washington Senators game in 1924, and I remember that being a really good series, and I thought this was a great series with a lot of happening things, and I'm glad I own the Astros since last night because they were easy sell. And the reason why they were easy sell was the Nationals ended up being a better team that actually had a better run and beat the Dodgers, beat the Brewers in that game playoff. They then beat the Cardinals, and they beat the best two teams that had over 100 wins, and they beat them. This is all about the Senators. I don't want to hear from that guy down there, the cowboy, about mistakes made.
It's no surprise Logan Roy's in the wrong century here. Could this be the best run ever? Lil Nas, I went through the whole list there. 12 games under 500, nearly a third into the season, all the elimination wins. Best run in the history of the sport, Lil Nas?
First of all, the best run in history is right here, 17 weeks atop the charts. Don't get that one twisted. But this is a squad that's been in the valley while the rest of you all couldn't get off the porch. All those comebacks, are you kidding me? This is a team that nobody believed in anything, including individuals in their own hometown. They had no faith, but they came back after in May. They were, 19 wins in May. Look, if you want to say that there's a better run, I'll say perhaps, but you're certainly not going to find that argument from me. Not anywhere or anywhere else.
Doesn't seem like we're going to get any argument from Billy Ray Cyrus either. He's just happy to fill in for about 2 lines and a verse.
Somebody who was in this chair 3 weeks ago told you all about the Nats. That's all you
Oh, yes, that is right. I need to reward that from Billy Ray. Gardner, how about you?
Tony, I may be 23, but this mustache is 57. It's done seen some things. You don't just win a title like that. I'll tell you what, Tony, you ever been in the pocket when it's closing? You don't go down. You scramble. This team scrambled. And it's not how you start. It's who you finish. It's how you finish.
And who you finish and how you finish, all right? And now what you finish. Spleen, can I ask you what you saw from this series?
You can. I was talking about this with my kidneys just last night, Tony. It's funny that you asked. And here's the thing, is it the greatest run of all time? No, it's just the most recent run of all time. But certainly a spectacular run when you consider the Nationals and where they were in the regular season and where they were in the postseason, trailing late in the game against Josh Hader, trailing late in Game 5, I believe, against a Clayton Kershaw. Trailing late in the game last night and coming up with big home run and big hit after big home run and big hit. So it's certainly one of the great runs of all time. I don't know if it's the greatest, but it's certainly up there.
All right, so you don't know if it's the greatest, but would you put him up against anybody all time?
I would put him up against maybe that Cubs run that they had a few years back to win their first World Series.
And Logan Roy, how about you?
I think in 46 with the Cardinals against the Yankees that I saw something similar to this. But you should know, son, that whatever you have in life, why compare runs? Why do we compare runs? Just accept that this is a great run. Where am I looking? It's a great run. And I think that you just accept it for that. You don't have to make comparisons.
So will history look at this as a great team or a good team on a run, Lil Nas?
History is going to look at this as a great team for a couple of different reasons. This is a squad that has drafted and developed talent. We're not talking about a bunch of guys that have been put together from a bunch of different places. Mike Rizzo, the guy, he said, y'all can't tell me nothing. This is how you do it.
You can't tell him nothing. No, that's absolutely shot. About that, the front office is going to have to make some decisions about some of their MVP candidates, Strasburg and Rendon specifically. But about the MVP, Gardner, who'd you have? Strasburg, Rendon, Soto?
Let me tell you something, Tony. You ever track a raccoon with Mike Leach? here's what he'll tell you. You can go a good mile if you don't see those tracks right in front of you. You'll never find them. You get what I'm saying, Tony?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Is the mile,
okay.
And the tracks are Strasburg.
Sam Darnold, spleen, your MVP?
Tony, you can't pick one MVP. They're like organs. They all work together. That's what the Nationals are. They're all working together. But if I had to pick one, I guess I'd go Steven Strasburg. There is no Game 7 unless Strasburg comes up big in Game 6 in Houston against Justin Verlander.
Logan Roy?
It's like trying to pick my successor among Kendall and Shiv and Roman. You can't pick one, I don't think. I think why not have two different MVPs? One an MVP that would be most valuable pitcher, and one an MVPP, most valuable position player. That way, everybody would have liked it, Rendon, and you would have whatever that pitcher's name.
Okay, there we go. Old Town Road. Anything to add here? Let's ask Billy Ray Cyrus.
Strasburg.
Billy Ray Cyrus?
Hold on.
Yeah?
For Strasburg, this was a bit of a career situation right here. He came out, he was a Porsche. These days, he's riding on his horse, the workhorse for this team. He did well.
I like Adam Eaton. He looks like he could sit a horse and wear a hat.
Houston Astros, 336 wins over the last 3 seasons. That's the most in history. The loss here with some home field disadvantage while pitching 3 Cy Youngs over 6 games. Billy Ray Cyrus, how should Astro fans feel today?
Tony, they shouldn't just be brokenhearted. I think we know what they are. They've got achy, breaky hearts today. They are stunned by what they've witnessed. They are used to dominating teams in Minute Maid Field, and they lost all 4 games. Verlander and Cole went 1-3. The Nats took a wrecking ball to this team, if you will, and they don't know how that happened.
Minshew?
Well, Tony, I'd like to tell them, don't you worry. This ain't the bottom. It feels like the bottom. But the bottom is when I beat the Texans this week.
Did you guys hear Garrett Cole after the game? Garrett Cole, yes, he's going to be a free agent. Didn't seem like he was hanging around much for some post-game conversation.
I don't have to do it at all?
No.
I have to do it?
I want you to be available.
I mean, I'm not employed. I'm not employed.
Is it okay to say that, Logan Roy?
You know what you tell him? You just tell him he's fungible. You can get rid of him on a moment's notice. We could bring somebody else in and be the star pitcher for this team. So let him go. If that's the attitude he has, in terms of the people in Houston, I know how they feel. The people in Dundee, their entire lives, they felt bad like this.
Bill Nas X, Billy Ray Cyrus, 45 at the top of the charts. Minshew, 32. Sam Darnold's spleen, still trying to just comprehend what that is, 31. And Logan Roy hanging on for dear life at 20. I'm still not convinced, by the way, that isn't Israel Gutierrez just doing a great Tim Kalishaw doing Billy Ray Cyrus. We will remember Israel Gutierrez here, the dynasty of the GOAT of Halloween, who's taking a year off.
Tony Reed. This Gutierrez kid that thinks he's the king of Halloween.
Can you smell? Don't let him talk to me.
Buy or sell us next. Stick around.
Duval!
I'm pretty sure our new house might be haunted.
What makes you say that?
The furniture is levitating. Oh, and the ghost.
Welcome home.
Yeah, that's spooky.
You know what's really scary? Missing out on Geico for help with homeowners and renters insurance. Geico makes it easy to save a bunch.
Great. You're not sticking around, right?
The party's just getting started.
Happy Geico-ween. Call today and see how easy homeowners and renters insurance can be.
Welcome back to Around the Horn, coming to you from the Heineken River Deck at Pier 17.
If you're just joining us, Logan Roy making an appearance in Plasma 1. Raccoon and spiders in his chimney right now. Old Town Road, appropriately, with the 45. Gardner Minshew stretching in his jockstrap. I see what you're doing there. Sam Darnold's spleen has a new look for us as well in Plasma number 4.
Just taking a bath, Tone. Clean the spleen.
Let's go to buy or sell. Steph Curry, broken hand, out 1 to 2 months. The terrible, horrible, no good start to Golden State's season continues. It was 83-54 Suns when this happened. Logan Roy, what do you buy?
Well, just call me L to the OG. I'm buying that 2 weeks ago. I thought this team was going to